So why we need to meditate? The reason because we all suffer. Doesn't mean that you're a poor soul, miserable guy, but it includes disease, conflict, stress, unsatisfactoriness, unhappiness. So we all suffer out of one's own thoughts, biased thoughts, embedded with greed, hatred, and delusion. But the Buddha said, "My is luminous, but tainted with transitory mental impurities." That means it's not the true nature of the mind to have those biased thoughts. A pure mind is like an empty house, the true nature of the mind. But it's infested with uninvited guests, transitory guests of mental impurities, of greed, hatred, and illusion that sneak in with the biased thoughts. So what happened? It makes us suffer one's own thought. So how to get rid of the mouse? The Buddha gave us a formula or antidote to cure it. It's called the Four Foundations of Mindfulness. Basically, it has the benefit of being the supreme path that will purify all beings, that one transcend grief, sorrow, lamentation, overcome suffering and unhappiness, understand essential Dharma, or middle path, Noble Eightfold Path, and realize Nirvana, ultimate peace and happiness. Venerable Luang Por Kham Kien stated that these four foundations of mindfulness created the Buddha, and in return he taught us this technique to free us from suffering. Ordinary people would be hit with two arrows. The first arrow is from natural pain, SabhavaDukkha, from aging, sickness, and death. Also hit by the second arrow, which is mental suffering, or CetasikkaDukkha, rooted in the mind. For example, depart from your loved ones, didn't get what you want, or got what you don't want. This is called CetasikkaDukkha. It's a self-inflicted through your thoughts, biased thoughts. This is the first noble truth. On the other hand, the enlightened beings also hit with the first arrow because they cannot avoid aging, sickness, and death because of SabhavaDukkha. Even the Buddha passed away 2,568 years ago. But not hit by the second arrow, which is mental suffering, because they catch their thoughts. So they're not being tainted by mental suffering or CetasikkaDukkha. This is from the Salata Sutta. So why Four Foundations of Mindfulness? It's a reverse engineering technique to catch one's thoughts as they arise. But it's four foundations of mindfulness versus the Buddha see a person or beings, a life form, as five aggregates or five groups of existence, of form, including a body, as well as sight, sound, as well as eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, exposed to sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts, result in feeling, perception, thought formation, and consciousness. That's the mind. And basically, on Four Foundations of Mindfulness is self-observation of your body to see the form And feeling, you just meditate on the feeling. Perception, you meditate with mindfulness and self-awareness, overseeing the other four foundations. And thought formation is a mental formation. And consciousness, you meditate on the mind. Basically, same nature. And basically, this is to get rid of desirable and undesirable nature that arise at your body, your feeling, mind, mental phenomena that try to work to please your phantom ego with this desirable and undesirable nature. So what is mindfulness? It's basically mean paying attention to the present moment with intention while letting go of judgment. But in reality, mindfulness consists of two natures, two virtues. One is the mindfulness itself, which is self-recollection or self-remembrance, or called Sati in Pali. And there's another nature of virtue. It's called self-awareness or Sampajanna. Basically, it's like full awareness, clear comprehension, clear knowing, or wisdom in action, non-judgmental. It's a virtue of great benefit, this mindfulness and self-awareness, Sati and Sampajanna. Sati or mindfulness is basically sees the phenomenon. Like you go to TSA, when you travel with the airplane, you have to go through gate A, B, or C. That's where they retrieve you to go to certain gate so you can get on the plane. And then self-awareness or Sampajanna come in to investigate the phenomenon with X-ray machine, scanning, see what's your belonging and so on. See you're good or bad people. And you practice with perseverance, or 24/7 practice with to develop self-awareness and mindfulness. In Pali called Atapi Sampachano Satima. And continuing observing, self-observation, self-monitoring of your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena, together of desirable and undesirable apicca and dominant nature that arise at the body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena. So it's like playing musical chair. Mind can only dwell in only one mental object at a time. Cannot dwell into. It's like only one chair. You can sit there. And when you're aware, unawareness disappears. So mindfulness is like retrieve the king to sit on the throne, so he won't be deer hunting or vacationing, but they seize him to be in town, to be on the throne, so he can govern with wisdom in action of self-awareness. So enemy wouldn't dare attacking the fort because he's in town to defend himself and the fort and the kingdom. So the Buddha described how we end up with biased perception that result in causing craving to please your phantom ego. In the Four Foundations of Mindfulness, he described how it works, which corresponding to the current knowledge, scientific knowledge, nowadays. It proved what he was saying 2,600 years ago. And start with six sense spheres of ayunas, tongue, body, and mind. When you go to science now, tell such thoughts result in specific consciousness come in contact together. You see sight, ear consciousness when you hear sound, nasal consciousness with the smell, tongue consciousness with the taste, body consciousness with touch, and mental consciousness with your thoughts. So this results in contact and feeling. So this is the fruition is fixed. Can't do anything about it. It's you cannot avoid seeing the sight with your eyes. So, no avoiding hearing sounds with your ears. It's specific organs pathway system. So you perceive with pure perception. See what it is, what sight is, flowers or a book and so on, smell, fragrance and so on. So next we have bias perception, sanya cetana, bias with your ego embedded in there instead of pure perception. This will result in craving, disturbing thoughts, and obsessive thoughts. So it's a pathway that's been recognized nowadays. So when you see with your eyes, you can see and you perceive it through your eyes and going through the retina and going through the optic tract, optic chiasma, and then going to the midbrain and going to visual tract, and then going to the visual center in the back part of your brain. But the feedback loop is 5 times stronger back to the midbrain, just bottom left. So basically, it's just tell you how the biased thoughts came up with biased perception. Basically, this has been recently worked out the past 50 years or so. In the past, I thought it was ended the visual center, but the Buddha stated 2,600 years ago that there is from perception through the visual center, Chakku Vinyan Vajanajit, it will be Sampajanna conveying to the midbrain, and the Santaranajit who investigate and then result in Votapanajit, which means you give value, determining the value on it. So that's how you have biased perception. And this results in a self-image, hologram, or self-concept. Professor Damasio, head of neurology, U of Iowa, say, in parallel with generated mental pattern for an object, the brain also generates a sense of self in the act of knowing. But the Buddha said it's not parallel, it's sequential, as you see on the right side of the slide. It's sequential. From pure perception become biased perception, or sanya becomes sanya cetana. And when you have hidden ego in there, generated, resulting craving, try to please your phantom ego or self-image hologram, which is not truly there, but it was generated through your thoughts with your biased perception. So end up with sensual desire, liking and disliking, with craving, which is the second noble truth, and result in suffering, the first noble truth that we talk about. So if you have mindful awareness, this would not, you only perceive it pure perception without becoming biased perception. And then you become that third noble truth. You free yourself from biased thoughts. Your mind become pure again. So as it's mentioned, life form has 5 group of existence: form, feeling, perception, thought formations, consciousness. Consciousness has no form, but you can track them through feeling, perception, and thought formation. And when you expose the 6 sense spheres, become endearing and pleasing with the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought. If you have mindful awareness, you will perceive things with perceptual processing, which is pure perception. no craving. It's active perception, active and neutral. It's pure perception. But you perceive it conceptual processing, you're in the sanjat cetana, bias perception. You end up with craving and clinging. Craving arise and sustain through that. It's not a pure perception, it's a conceptual processing. Sankhara, conditioning, arise through your thoughts, biased thoughts. So you embed in the thought, which is time and space. It's conceptual, virtual phenomena, not a real ultimate reality. You're in your dream there. So you end up being ignorant, or vichya, being a fool, deluded from not knowing the Four Noble Truth of first not knowing suffering, second not knowing cause of suffering, not knowing the end of suffering, and not knowing the path to end suffering. So the second Noble Truth is the cause of the first one, and the fourth Noble Truth is the cause of the third one as a result. And then, so it's cause and effect in the Four Noble Truth. So is the fifth, you'll be trapped in the thought of the past, number 6, trapped in the thought of the future. 7, trapped in the thought of past into the future. It's a cause and effect. Future is a cause of the present, and past is a consequence of the present, and so on. So sometimes stream of thought from the past into the future, and not knowing that dependent arising is the root of the present moment, is based on the law of causation, cause and effect. So everything is cause and effect, law of causation in Buddhism. Buddha stated, past is gone, future is not here, not arrived yet. So don't waste time in it. Because when you're the thought of volition, intention is karma or action, then you have to receive the consequence of your action. Inside of your thought, your life from your ignorance, as mentioned, become your mental impulse, and then attain your mental consciousness, or your mind goes on imagination, rupa. Six sense sphere got corrupt, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind corrupt, contact, feeling, all corrupted with bias, perception. It's become craving, clinging, becoming, birth into the thought, and end of the thought ripe and die. So you are in this spiral of thoughts many times a day. Scientists have found at least 6,200 thoughts a day in the average person, over 6,000 a day. But if you're aware, the concept is called, you see the true nature. This chain was broken. See, his true nature, not selfless, nirvana, ultimate peace and happiness. Back to the true nature of your mind. Equanimous mind, pure mind, free of ego. So how do you practice that? Through self-observation, self-monitoring, at your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena, and you practice to develop self-awareness and mindfulness. Self-awareness will lead you to insight wisdom, and mindfulness will retrieve phenomena that you can, your thought, and practice with perseverance, atapi 24/7. To get rid of apicca and dominant, desiring undesirable nature that arise at the body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena. To practice day and night, including formal practice and informal practice that you can do 24/7 while you're awake. And unbiasedly observe without anticipation, without indulging the thoughts or whatever you're exposed to, and not without intervening. And you set your mind with joy, would lead to bliss, lead to calming your body and mind, allow happiness to arise. When your mind is happy, it becomes steady. With steady mind, it energizes your mind. You see things clearly, see the true nature of things. You gain mental strength through samatha, steady mind, and then vipassana, insight, wisdom, panya. So informal practice becoming very important in your daily life, because if you observe your body through body movement, you can practice all day long, because we move all day long here. So Rinpoche Tien said, when you practice insight meditation, just practice that. Forget the front, but catch your rear. Rinpoche Tien just did the support. That's how you catch your thought as it arises from the projector. Don't pay attention to the thoughts, you just observe it. Don't run around with it. Just observe the thoughts that display on the screen. But you raise your mindfulness and self-awareness. So mindful awareness is like a cat that will catch the mouse. So when the cat is not there, the mouse is happy. When the cat is here, let's flee, let's flee. Mouse wouldn't be here anymore. So that's how you practice, by embedding, not fixating your mindfulness at the body movement, like you circle your fingers, your thumb and index finger. You will gain self-awareness in return. It's the sensation of feeling that you sense when you rub your fingers. When you touch your two hands, 10 tip of your fingers, two hands together, lightly. You can sense pronounced sensation of pure awareness. It's the immediate fresh feeling. Or you can open and close your fist, you will sense that too. So in our practice, this is how to awaken your knowing nature. Put your palm on your thighs, tilt your right palm up, you're aware. Lift your arm, right palm up, bring down your tummy, aware. Left palm tilt up, bring it up to your chest, down to your tummy. Slide your right palm up, be aware, bring it out, you're aware, bring it out, let it down, aware. Left palm, slide your left palm up, bring it out, bring it down, turn it down, be aware. It's one cycle. Keep on doing with your eye open. So that you can incorporate aware of your body movement in your daily life as you move all day long, and not being trapped in the thought when you close your eyes. So you keep your eye open, true nature of things. So you practice like this. This is what Rinpoche Tien said. When you're aware of your body, it awakens your body. Aware of your mind, awaken your mind. That's the key to the practice. So he also advised that not to be absent-minded without wandering mind outwardly, and not fixate your mind internally or inside your soul. It means you're trapped in your own tranquility inside your mind without seeing any change outside or internally. This practice as if you're standing at the cave entrance. It means be aware internally only 60 to 70%, and aware externally 30 to 40%, and aware externally and internally at your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena. Your body posture, you're aware internally with proprioceptive sense. And then on the feeling, you can be happy, unhappy, or neutral feelings that you can be aware. And externally, you can be aware of your body movement through your hand movement that I show you, or being comfort or discomfort that you may sense physically at your feelings. And your mind, you can observe whether your mind is with or without greater delusion, is manic or depressed, steady or unsteady, liberate or not liberate. And also set your mind with joy related to bliss, calming of your body and mind. Allow happiness to arise and steady mind to occur. With steady mind, energize your mind, that you can see mental phenomena through the five aggregates. We talk about six sense spheres and noble truth we talk about. Also, you can observe the five hindrances, like ill will, sensual desire, ill will, torpor, and drowsiness, and anxiety, and wandering mind, and doubt. So, all seven factors of enlightenment. And you come to see, witness the three universal laws of existence, of impermanence, unstable, imperfect, unbearable, and not self or selfless, or uncontrollable nature of everything, of your body, feeling, mind, mental. That's the fourth noble truth. And you get insight to see that the body keeps changing. Sometimes it takes time to see, like from a baby in the crib, become a toddler, become an adolescent, a teenager, a young man, middle-aged man, old man, and death, like each chapter of the book. So you can see, sometimes it takes time to see the change in the body, but you can truly witness that. Mind is formless. You need training to catch it. So by being mindfully aware, we can catch your mind, your thoughts, the movement of your mind, which is your thoughts. And you can see that thing arise, endure, and cease as a norm, like impermanence, instability, continuity obscure it, imperfection, or being unbearable, movement obscure it, and not self or selfless is uncontrollable, is bundling obscure it. So these are the three universal laws of existence. And there's no true permanent self, it's but self-image hologram, or self-concept that your mind generates through your thoughts, through the biased perception. It's not truly there. It's but a phantom ego. And but true nature is impermanent, imperfect, and selfless in nature. So you practice like this, and you witness the true nature of impermanence, perfection, selflessness. It leads you to insight wisdom, not to cling to it, because you see the burden of clinging to your ego become a heavy burden that you have to carry around, and realize that all phenomena are not worth clinging to. Your mind learns to become disenchanted, didn't want any more of such burden. Discern or dispassionate and release. That's how you end suffering, by touching your thoughts and let go of this. It will become dispassionate and release when you see the truth as it is, that all phenomena are not worth clinging to. So that's the end of suffering, or nirodha, or nirvana, ultimate peace and happiness.